Have you guys ever gone 3 days in a row without taking any trade? Well, that was me this week, and I'll be showing you guys everything that happened and explaining everything in this week's market review. So let's begin with gold. For gold on Monday, price made this bearish move before coming here to break structure. And so after the third one, I found a valid demand zone to trade from. Now, I'm beginning to see that I should have used this level instead as my liquidity and taking the demand zone from here. That's this one. So I didn't do that. Instead, I took here as my demand zone and entered the buy and stopped me out. On Tuesday, nothing really happened. Price was just breaking structure, but it wasn't really forming supply zones for me to take a sell from. And then at this point, it just moved down in a very, very fast manner, and I couldn't enter into the game. So Tuesday was a new trade day on gold. Then on Wednesday, you can see what happened there. Price broke structure to the upside before changing character, and then came back down to take liquidity. So as it didn't break the structure, this supply zone here was not going to be tradable, because as just liquidity was taken, I was expecting price to break through the whole thing and change character to the bullish scenario, which it did. After doing that, this was liquidity that I marked out. Then this area here was my demand zone, and I placed my entry at this point. Stops here. The only issue is that this was a missed entry. So I only saw it after the trade had already played out well. But anyway, this would have been a very nice buy, which he did take profit. On Thursday, this one was also a missed setup. But I'll go through it. This was a break of structures to the upside before a change of character down here. And then price broke the supply zone. Price created a supply zone rather after breaking structure. And then this was supposed to be the entry, which played out well, but it was a missed trade. On Friday, this one, there was nothing that happened. Price was just moving randomly. It broke structure here, came back up to take liquidity before breaking structure again. So there wasn't really any zone that was traded for me to enter from. Anyway, if you guys are liking the video, I'll continue with the other pairs afterwards. But do well to like the video, drop it, also comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are currently at 84. Let's push to 100 before the end of this month. Let's see if we can do it, guys. So subscribe, turn on the notification button, and share the video. Follow me, join my Telegram community. This is where I drop all my trades before they play out. Follow me too on X, TikTok. I've opened a new account. The previous one had an issue, so do well to follow me here. Facebook and Instagram. I'll drop all the links in the description. And when you're done watching this video, do well to watch every other video here. They are all informative. So back to the video. Moving over to EURUSD. EURUSD now, this was Monday's trade. Monday's trade, I didn't really get any entries, because here now, I couldn't have entered here because the stop would have been here, meaning the profit target would have been way above this joint liquidity. So I didn't take the trade. Then, this point was where I was supposed to take a trade, but the only reason I didn't take a trade was because it broke I have a rule of not entering at evening time. So this trade, I didn't take it, but it still played out well. On Tuesday, price was just moving bearish throughout, but it was forming nice structure, just that it couldn't form any valid supply zone and enter into that zone for me to sell from. But it was obeying, I don't know what I'll call it, an inefficient market structure, because it wasn't really going up to the point where you want to take a trade from. And this would have been a nice place to sell from, but I just didn't take it because it seemed like the zone was too small and price could just easily weak it and stop me out in the process. Anyway, on Wednesday, time has really gone. On Wednesday, nothing really happened here. Just minor breaks of structure with change of characters without any serious zone that was formed. Okay. On Thursday, same thing. Now, this was a trade I missed out on. But the reason I didn't take a trade was because I marked this as a change of character to the bullish side. So I didn't take a sell. I couldn't take a sell. If this had been here, maybe a little bit closer to the supply zone, then maybe I would have just marked it as liquidity. But it's happened that this was actually liquidity that was taken to fuel a further move to the downside. Then on Friday, nothing serious happened. I just marked out waves structures and change of characters. I couldn't find any supply or demand zone to take a trade from. Over to GBPUSD. Looks like this video might really be long. Over to GBPUSD. Let me see how I can rush through everything. This was a trade I took. Broke structure, second break, third break. After the second break, this was the demand zone printed and I entered the trade. On Tuesday, nothing serious, just efficient but small market structure. We can see there wasn't really any volatility on Tuesday. On Wednesday was even worse because instead of it to just at least obey market structure like Tuesday, it was just taking liquidity at every point in time. It would come up, take liquidity up, come down, take liquidity down, come up, take liquidity up. So nothing really happened for me there. I couldn't take a trade. On Thursday, same thing. Although this was not just liquidity, it was just change of characters, like actual body closes after the level. So it was not just taking liquidity. The only thing that saved me was that I didn't see any valid zone to take a trade from. If not, I would have been burnt out of this one. And then this was Friday. Nothing serious. I couldn't take a trade there. On AUDUSD. Yes, let me see how I can rush this thing. Time is really going. On AUDUSD, I couldn't take a trade here. But this should have been a strong point to buy from. The reason I didn't take this trade was because in the other pair, I think EURUSD, this demand zone was looking too small. So it was just looking like price could easily take a trade. It could easily break through it, sorry. Then on Tuesday, nothing serious happened. I marked out the supply zone to take a trade from, but price couldn't go all the way down there. And on Wednesday, I already explained this in the Wednesday's video, why I couldn't take this trade, although it worked out well. It just felt like this was trend line liquidity and price could just come all the way down. Could just come all the way down to take it out. But it didn't. Next time, learn. Then on Thursday, market structure wasn't good at all because this was the whole range and price was just ranging inside it. And on Friday, this was AUDUSD. I missed this trade. Again, I don't know why, but I wasn't really focusing on this thing when it happened. But this was a very, very valid trade. Very, very valid. I don't know how I missed it. But I'll try to be more vigilant to avoid missing such things. On NZDUSD, nothing really happened. I just marked out this pair from Thursday. So Monday had a nice trade. Although I didn't take the trade, I only started trading NZDUSD from Thursday. So I just left out Tuesday and Wednesday's price action. On Thursday, this was a trade that should have gone well, but I missed it because I was quite busy, so I couldn't take this one. And then on Friday, nothing serious happened. There wasn't any valid zone to trade from. Over to USDCAD. Over to USDCAD. I had the first break of structure here on Monday and the second one, and this was a supply zone that I didn't trade. I didn't take a trade on. I'm really beginning to see how I missed out on all these pairs. The reason I missed out on this one was because this was a break of structure. So I decided to take this as my strong high. Although it still seemed like liquidity because of how the week was. So I felt like I should have just taken this trade, but we learn. On Tuesday, this was the trade I took on Tuesday. Price broke structure, changed character twice, and then found this liquidity point here. This was a demand zone, so I just took an entry and it played out perfectly well. On Wednesday, nothing really happened. There wasn't any valid zone to trade from, so I just stayed away. On Thursday, I missed this one because I was busy too, but we can see that it worked out well. Just normal break of structure, find the demand zone and enter. Then on Friday, nothing serious again. Nothing serious. Price was not respecting any. Wasn't even forming valid demand zones for me to buy from. Finally, the last but not the least is USDCHF. Now, USDCHF on Monday was supposed to come into my zone to sell from, but it couldn't, so I couldn't take a trade there. On Tuesday, same thing. I saw price come down here, and I was saying, okay, this could be liquidity. But price couldn't come down all the way lower, especially as this low came to take liquidity here. So this was supposed to be my protected low, but it just kept on moving up, couldn't come down. On Wednesday, nothing really happened. Market just ranged throughout London session. It's made a slight expansion during Asian session, and then throughout London, heading into middle of New York session, it was just accumulating before this huge distribution to the downside. Anyway, on Thursday, price was making change of character after change of character. So there wasn't any valid zone to trade from up until this point when it had already gotten to even time around 6:15. So I couldn't trade. And finally on Friday, nothing really happened. There wasn't any valid area to trade from. So I stayed away from the market. So that's it on all the pairs for this week. All the price action for this week. We keep learning. Hope I'll learn from the trades I missed. The ones I know I missed, some of them I wasn't available, some of them I was available, but for some reason I couldn't see it. I'm going to look into that very well. And that's it. I just took 3 trades, 2 were wins and 1 was a loss. So finally, once again, like the video, drop it or 2 comments, share it to anyone you know, subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on your notification button. And most importantly, join my Telegram channel. That's where I drop all my trades before you even play out. I'll drop the setup. Then follow me on X, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So thank you guys for watching. And also, before I forget, once you're done watching this video, go through these other ones. They won't get long. Just around 8 to 14 minute videos. So thank you guys, and we'll see you again later. Bye.